it up. It's the Record Machine with your host, Jimmy Hall.
Nothing about you that's getting old. Hate to say. Word travels fast when the lights are low. How many times you gonna put that body on sale for these thrift store hearts to drag you through hell? You say you came here to be alone, to let those cigarettes fill your eyes with smoke. If you keep pulling at that hole in your sweater, it'll just get harder to hold it together. I don't know why you're never satisfied. You always gotta be so out of your mind, and I just here to occupy your time. The distraction you've identified, some shiny thing that caught your eye, is good enough to get you through the night, to get you through the night. I'm so tired of feeling bought and sold. Sad to say. Running hot, believing cold. This is my last round, what are you gonna hear? 'Cause I'm settling up, I'm closing our tab. I don't know why you're never satisfied, why you always gotta be so out of your mind. I'm just here to occupy your time. The distraction you've identified, some shiny thing that caught your eye, is good enough to get you through the night, to get you through. And I just wanna see you home and walk away. In some corner of my mind, I'm gonna stay. There's something about this that's getting old. Word travels fast when the lights get low. I don't know why you're never satisfied. You always gotta be so out of your mind, and I just here to occupy your time. The distraction you've identified, some shiny thing that caught your eye, is good enough to get you through the night, to get you through the night. Get you through. Get you through the night.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome from the band the Larimores, Denny Smith and Joshua Ketchmark to the program. Hey, what's up, Denny?
How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm all right. I'm here with Mr. Ketchmark.
Hello, good morning.
How are you, Joshua?
I'm pretty good, pretty good.
What's the weather there like in Nashville?
Beautiful today, actually. Yeah, and there it is. Hold on. I'm going to take this collar off my dog. We're going to hear that jangling the whole time we're doing this. There you go. Yeah, now you're silent. She's stealthy now. We're good.
Cool. Yeah, it's pretty warm here, too. It's about 74, 75 here in North Myrtle Beach.
Yeah, yeah. I forget you're on the water, man.
So what are you guys up to today?
This is about it, man. Maybe we'll go grab some lunch or something afterwards. But yeah, let's doing more press for this. Starting to see some reviews start to come in on it. So you're in first. You're on the ground floor, man.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm honored, man. That's pretty cool that you put me in the front of the line.
Well, jumped in front of the line, man. You hit us up. We have to. Normally we have to.
That's funny, man.
Proactive.
Yeah, I mean, I try to keep my plate full. I want to have my guests lined up at least 4 weeks in advance.
Yeah.
I'm already into May already. So
I listened to the Brian Cole one yesterday. I hadn't had a chance to listen to that yet.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He's really cool. I mean, that guy can tell a great story.
Yeah, he's definitely got. There's some weird 6 degrees of separation with him and my bass player Matt. They didn't even realize they had met years ago. He'd worked on a project with Matt's roommate, and we ended up doing that New England Rock Fest a couple of years back with Steel City when he was still. And they're having this conversation, and I saw Matt kept looking at him like sideways, like, "Man, I know you, right?" And it turns out they'd done these sessions together here in Nashville. His roommate had played on some stuff for Brian. I didn't realize he did that much work here until I listened to your interview with him.
Yeah, he works at Tonic Studios, right?
Yeah, I'm not even super familiar with that spot, but he mentioned that a couple times, and I was like, "Oh, I didn't." He doesn't live here though, does he? Doesn't he still live in?
I believe he has 2 places.
Yeah. Okay, that's right.
He probably has like an apartment or something in Nashville, and maybe a house over in Pittsburgh, maybe because Pittsburgh is where he's from.
Money producing, because if you can afford an apartment in this town, you're doing all right for yourself, man. That says something right there.
Yeah, well, I heard it's gotten pretty expensive to live there, right?
Yeah, it definitely has.
So you guys have been friends for 30 years, huh?
Yeah, we were just discussing the fact that we, the band that we played together in Los Angeles was 20 years ago this summer that Joshua moved out there to join up with us. But I had played with him 10 years prior to that. I met him 10 years prior to that. So yeah, it's a hell of a run, man, when you look at it like that.
What's the story behind Larimores?
Like a writing thing, right?
Yeah.
A while back when I first moved.
It could have been, yeah, we had done the Larimores thing. Originally was 3 of us, another buddy of ours, Lee Coram. There's a whole other batch of songs that we did that I think are really great, and hopefully we'll get to revisit those at some point that we did 4 years ago, probably now at least. Yeah. And we pretty much finished those up with him, and then it just kind of thrashed. Everybody got busy doing their own things, and so it never really saw any kind of release. And then this batch of songs, we started out as a writing project that wasn't even for us. It was us writing for a friend of ours, kind of writing to order. Mm-hmm. So it didn't, I guess it was not really organic in that way. But then it's a really long story getting to how it didn't end up going where it was supposed to go. But we just liked the song so much when that thing kind of imploded that we didn't want to just let them languish on the shelf somewhere. So we went ahead and revisited everything and touched it up and made it as much of a proper release as we could. We had about a dozen songs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, there's still 10 left on the shelf right now.
Yeah, so we narrowed it down to the 4 that we thought we could most do justice to, because some of them we had written this. The idea in mind was to do more of this Bon Jovi-esque kind of thing for this buddy of ours, because that's really what he wanted. So we had a bunch of stuff that's very in that vein, that we had targeted that specifically, and I think we got pretty close to the mark on a lot of it. And then we had a few other things that were like fringe stuff that was probably more what we would do on our own.
Those ones were really cool.
Yeah, so that stuff kind of, that's the stuff that we gravitated to for us. And then we decided to reapply the Larimores name, because the original name we had, which was the Hail Marys, which is now the title of the EP, has been used to death. Everywhere we looked, there was another band called the Hail Mary or the Hail Marys, or there's 17 punk bands with that name. So we decided to go back to the Larimores, and hopefully Lee Coram doesn't sue us for not.
But he'll be included on the next 4.
Yeah, we'll put him on the next batch.
Yeah.
So how did you come up with that name?
That is a far more interesting story. I have a book sitting next to me because I didn't want to forget the authors' names, but my girlfriend, her family, going back a few generations, that on her mother's side, their last name is Larimore, and they're kind of notorious in the central Illinois area where we're from, and not in a good way. They were, let me see what this says here, horse thieves, road agents, and killers.
Oh, okay. Nice people.
Look, and she's a very sweet girl most of the time, and now I know not to turn her the other way, but there's called lynch law that's all about them, and she found out about it 2 years ago and ordered a copy of it, and it's been sitting on my coffee table for several years now, and it just seemed like a thing that it was anonymous enough of a name and nobody was using it, so, and it has a nice little ring to it, rolls off the tongue,
and it's kind of a tie back because they're from kind of where we're from. I mean,
yeah, we're all from that same neck of the woods, so we've never stolen horses.
No horses.
I'm not really sure what road agents are. We might have been those. I'm not sure. And I've never killed anybody. I can't speak for Jack. But otherwise, yeah.
The Hail Mary EP, that comes out on April 30th, correct?
April 30th, yes, sir.
And you got 4 songs on there. What's the story behind each song, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, the story behind each song would be Mr. Ketchmark here had the beginnings of, I think, all 4 of these. They came in rough form.
Well, just for the record, was just a riff.
Yeah, it was the guitar riff. Yeah, and he usually had a handful of lines, and we would just sit. We really labored over a lot of this stuff. Over the Moon, in particular, I remember that was a.
I would say that Writing Over the Moon reminds me of that. If you've seen the Springsteen Born to Run documentary, where he was like, I just wrote lyrics, and then I wrote more lyrics, and then I peeled those lyrics back, and then I wrote more lyrics. Mm-hmm. I kind of feel like that's how Over the Moon kind of took shape. It was a labor of love There were several iterations of it, for sure, and there were a lot of, man, do you really want to go with that line? Conversations where and there's, when you think about it, if it's broken down, there are not that many lines in the song, but we really spent a lot of time on that, probably more so than any of the other ones. Hey, Juno, do you have something you want to say in this interview? Would you like to speak? You want to say something?
No? Okay. All right, canine meltdown in the midst of this for some reason. She must want coffee.
Over the Moon, what is it about?
I mean, as far as what it's about, to me, it's a vibe thing, man. It's a I can only speak from my perspective on it, but I see it as a guy that is kind of wistful about, maybe letting something go before he should have let it go, and then realizing that it's too late to really, it's far out of your reach. You can't really do much to change what you've done, kind of thing. But at the same time, man, it's got enough of that little bounce to it where it kind of seems like it might be hopeful. But I don't know. That's one of those things where lyrically, man, I'm always weird about trying to define the story too much. Kind of like to let everybody else. Some of these songs are very much a narrative kind of thing. That one to me is more of a vibe than a narrative. Mm-hmm.
I think they were kind of written to be kind of more of what they would mean to the listener after they're written. And
open for interpretation.
Yeah, there's a couple of them that are, Beautiful and Tragic is more or less a story that's that's very linear and kind of, by the time that song wraps up, you've kind of told the tale. But a couple of these other ones are just more about it's just the spirit of the thing and kind of the feeling it in the moment. Plus, man, that's all the songs there's a few things that get in the singer-songwriter genre where it's, Steve Earle can tell a story, Bruce Springsteen can tell a story. These are more a little more nebulous, as our engineer buddy Michael St. Leon would say, and meant to just kind of swirl around in your head and make you think a little bit, Yeah,
I love all of them. I think my favorite one, though, is Thrift Store Hearts. What's the story behind that?
Yeah, that's great. It turned out really well, man.
I love that one. Is there a story behind that, or is it, again, it's just open for interpretation?
I'll leave it up to you, Josh. I'm not really sure.
Wow. I think we really just tried to sculpt that one just a little bit.
It just smells like a bar.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a song like a bar.
I was trying to be, witty and creative with that one. Like, what's the best way to say this? But Denny's right. It's just kind of smells like a bar.
There's a place.
It was supposed to.
There's a place that we hang out occasionally in the afternoons here when we don't feel like writing songs. We go to this little place called the Red Door. It's not far from his place, and it's it's a hole in the wall that. Well, it used to be a hole in the wall, and now it's become a really trendy spot to hang out. But we've been going there for years, so I feel like we're grandfathered in to the cool part of it. But when I hear that song, that's what I think of when I hear that song. It just reminds me of that story is playing out in that bar to me. So, of course, I don't think you can smoke in there anymore. He's still smoking there, so maybe that's been squandered too. It might have Nashville's ruined that for us, but yeah, I mean that one has a story too. I guess it's got a few layers to it, but he came in with a really cool lyric, had a couple great lines, and I don't think I plugged in much, but a guitar melody on that. And,
well, we wrote the bridge together for that.
Oh yeah, so yeah, I did contribute some really brilliant work on that.
We wrote the bridge, and then I know that I remember that chorus. I had the chorus, but I wasn't too confident about it. And when I brought it in, and Denny was like, "Oh yeah, this all works. We just need these 2 lines, and this will tie this all up, and this will help it all make sense." And I was like, "Oh, yeah, it does. You're a genius."
Yeah, I am. My mom tells me.
For the Record's a great song too. I like that one. Is there a story behind that?
Yeah, that was another one where he just brought in that almost a complete piece of music. The riff and stuff was there, and we. It's funny now because we've been working on these songs for like 2 years, and I'm hard pressed to tell you how some of that stuff came together because we were bouncing things back and forth. And the way it works generally on this batch stuff is we'll spend an afternoon, 2-3 hours noodling on something. It's one of those "what do you got" kind of things, and we throw stuff around until something sticks, and then we'll do a rough sketch into the trusty iPhone, and he'll take it home and whip up a track of some kind, and we'll go from there, which is all these songs were really going to be at all until they got their final recording done. And then once we realized that we were going to be the ones that did those final recordings, we just started layering in the other players and stuff from other sessions and stuff. We had a couple different drummers playing it, Chris Cheatham and Kenny Wright, who plays in the Great Affairs. He played on one, and a couple different bass players played on it. Nick Colbreth. Never know how to pronounce his name, and Dave Webb, and then everything else is us except for the piano on "Over the Moon." Yes. Is Stacey Hogan from Sin Shake Sin. He played that, but so Joshua just took the stuff home. See, I got it. Joshua took it home and just built these killer tracks up, and really applied himself to it. Once we realized it was going to be an actual, we're going to put this out into the world, we might want to apply a little spit and polish to it, and he really went to town on that stuff. So. Yeah, I'm not really sure what the original question was. Oh, for the record, that was one that kind of blossomed in production because there's a lot of really great. It's got a kind of a trippy, Cheap Trick, Beatles style bridge, and he put a bunch of really cool ear candy that I didn't even know was going to be there until I got the first, production, the reference mix. I was like, oh, well, holy hell, what's all this stuff? And so there was all kinds of great trickery going on in there that if you listen to it in headphones, it's pretty impressive. There's really cool. And it's nice even when it's something that you're working on, that a mix comes back with that kind of stuff in it that you didn't expect, because it's almost like you have nothing to do with it. You can just appreciate it for what it is, which is a really brilliant piece of arranging. So, yeah. So that's the long answer to your very succinct question. Sorry.
Will there be a music video for any of these singles?
I don't know yet. I'm not sure.
I got an idea for a music video. Thrift Store Hearts. Go back to that bar that you hang out at and shoot it there.
Well,
that would be a great idea.
It would be a great idea, but let me tell you how that works in Nashville now. They would want us to pay them an exorbitant amount of money to do that. Mm-hmm. We'd have to do it secretly with an iPhone or something. Every place is now a shooting location in this town. So unless you're doing it in your own home, chances are you're going to be paying for the privilege of filming whatever it is you're filming there.
Here's an idea, though. What if you guys went out with a bunch of your friends, right? Mm-hmm. And you video footage with your iPhones, and then you take the footage from the iPhones, and you make a video out of that.
Are you encouraging us to commit a crime?
I'll tell you, because you got my brain working. That's one of my other loves.
We'd be living up to our
and all the rest.
Living up to our horse thieving, road agent, killer.
Well, you have to live up to that name, bro, right? No one's going to know. You're just using your phones to video yourselves out having a good time. You know?
Well, I mean, they say you can film anything on those new iPhones. So
I got a great one. I got I think it's the iPhone 11 I just got. It's got like dual cameras in it.
See? Yeah. Josh is making notes.
I mean,
oh, there you go. Yeah, we've got one right here.
Shoot like 30 minutes of footage, right? Like just like random footage or whatever, and then just put it together and to the track, and that'll be your video.
I would almost be bold enough just to walk in there with my
GoPro.
And just start shooting until they say, "Hey, man, what are you doing?" Oh, nothing. This is a student project.
Well, this happened to us years ago, but we did the band I was in when I first moved to Nashville had a club date one night, and we had to be there early for load in, and we hired a photographer that showed up with her full rig, her lights and everything, and we got shut down. They straight up said, "Hey, you can't do that without we have to sign something, we have to pay a fee." And we're like, "We have played here a million times, we've taken so many pictures in this dressing room, but because we brought in a professional camera and lights, it was now an official shoot." So you may be onto something. If we don't bring any of that kind of stuff and we just kind of do it under the radar, maybe we'll. So who knows?
Here's another idea.
Credit on that. If it happens.
Can you play in that bar? Do they have bands in that bar?
No, there's no live music in.
I was gonna say if you were playing in the bar, then you could just have somebody like film you with their iPhone and then.
True.
You know. And then,
well, the thing is now I think we just went to 100% capacity here now too. But for the last several months, you wouldn't be able to get away with anything in there because there's not enough people allowed in the building for you to hide what you were doing. So, but yeah, we might be able to. I mean, a
GoPro camera works too. Those little cameras that you just put on your shirt, your lapel or whatever. You know, just have a couple people walk around with those on that you're friends with, and just video you guys hanging out, maybe shooting some pool or playing some jukebox, doing some shots, something like that. And
sign this waiver saying it's okay if we use your likeness in the video we're not filming right now.
Right.
I got a couple of GoPros. We can just go hide those around the bar, and then hope they're still there when we leave.
Any plans for you guys to do some shows in the area?
I don't think so.
Yeah, it seems unlikely, man. That was the one thing that we kind of did ourselves in on this because some of these songs are very produced and layered and would require a lot more hands on deck than we could probably afford to pull off. But I can see us. I mean, we go out and do like acoustic things sometimes together. Where we'll do, we split the night. He'll do a couple sets. I do a couple sets. I can see us, doing some of these things acoustic though. Stuff like Thrift Store Hearts can be done.
You've been playing Over the Moon in your solo acoustic sets.
I've done Over the Moon a couple times at shows, just by myself. But yeah, it may happen in that thing. I can't see us. It'd be cool to do. I think if we had a full record, then maybe might be worth experimenting with that. But it's tough to go out and promote 4 songs on the road. It's a pretty short show.
Now you have the Great Affairs. Denny, Joshua, do you have a band that you play with on a full-time basis as well?
Yeah, it's myself.
Oh, okay.
I started releasing solo records in 2008, so I've probably got about 10 records out now.
Oh, wow,
I think
nice.
9 or 10 records, and it's just under my name. You can find me online anywhere, really. So. Yeah, started releasing solo records when I lived in LA, and just haven't stopped though.
That's pretty cool. So you know what would work probably if the Great Affairs did a tour and Joshua did his show with them.
We've done that. Yeah, we spent most of until
2018.
Yeah, 2018, 2019. He was out with us about probably 30% of our shows. He was our acoustic opener.
That's all. Well, you guys could do the Larimores too, right? You could use each other's bands.
There's 2 or 3 of those songs could be done. I think with the exception of Over the Moon, which would require, we'd have to have a piano player for that to really do that one justice. But I think the rest of it could although we did kind of Def Leppard, he really Def Leppard us into the corner on that Beautiful and Tragic with all the backup vocals. I don't know if we don't have Mutt Lange helping us out on that one if we're going to be able to do that live. But
just do it like Def Leppard and just run the track.
Right.
Actually, I think they actually sing.
I think they really sing. Pretty sure they sing.
Do you guys have a favorite track on the album? Or the EP, I should say?
I would say mine's Thrift Store Hearts.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I really love it just because it's I've never done anything like that before. It's never had a song that was that really just never had a song that was that heavily piano based before on anything I've ever done. So it was it was cool to hear that get fleshed out. But yeah, Thrift Store Hearts, dude, there's something about that. The track, everybody played great on it. The mix is great. It's got these cool, the guitars, just something about the sound of those acoustic guitars. And then it's a cool lyric too, not to, blow smoke up.
No, it's great.
Well, there's some really great lyrics in it too.
I love it, man. You said the album comes out on April 30th. How will everyone be able to purchase it? Is there a website that they'll be able to go to?
Well, I slapped together a really quick Larimores Facebook page when I realized we had no landing pad for this thing yesterday. So that's up. It's only going to be available as a streaming and download thing for now. Just because EPs are so hard it's really hard to, excuse me, to make them commercially viable.
Okay.
I always feel like we're shortchanging people by putting out a 4-song thing and trying to get, once you charge shipping and everything on it, it's really kind of prohibitive. But, maybe when we do the next batch, we'll slap the two together and put out a physical of that, make it more of an LP kind of thing than just a little sampler that this thing is. But for now, this will be on all the streaming services. And I think, I'm not positive because I don't even know how to get to iTunes itself anymore. But I think you can pre-order it on iTunes or pre-save it or whatever it is they call it. And you can get the first Over the Moon, the first track. I think you can get that now if you pre-save it. I'm not tech savvy enough to figure out how to get to iTunes anymore because my phone and my computer keep driving me to Apple Music. So apparently they don't want me on iTunes. But yeah, it's just going to be a digital thing for now, which I'm not super thrilled about. But we're both so busy. Josh has just got a new record that just came out, and the Great Affairs are starting to go out and do shows again. So it was one of those things where we just wanted to get it out before we both got swamped. Mm-hmm. And the digital thing is just so it's just such an easy outlet for content. You put it up and then people can just basically come and grab it. We don't have to worry about standing in line at the post office which don't get me wrong, I love selling stuff because I love making money. But, I having just released something, I don't care if I ever stand in line at the post office with 100 copies of anything ever again, waiting to ship them out. So I could take a year off from that, but we'll do something physical down the line. I think if people gravitate to this and it's, if there's demand for more, we've got plenty of songs, that's for sure. So
we've thrown around the idea of just trying to make it maybe like a yearly thing and, putting out 4 songs every year around like kind of the same time. So if that's becoming a thing, maybe next year, like Danny was saying, we'll put 4 and 4, and that would certainly be cool on vinyl.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that would be cool on vinyl. You know what else would be cool? A T-shirt.
Well, that's easy. Those things are that can be easy because you can do those. You can upload that, and then somebody else can handle all that stuff for you. But it's just such a tough thing, man. Commerce is such a tough thing when you're a DIY operation to try and maintain it. It's like, and plus there's just 2 of us, so we got to flip for who gets stuck with the responsibility of fulfilling the orders. So. But yeah, I mean, I'm just honestly, man, I'm just so happy to have this thing. I really love these songs, and I'm just so happy to have it out finally because I'm really proud of the material, and I'm really proud of the work we put into it. In particular, all the stuff behind the scenes, all the hustle he put into getting these mixes together, and it's just I'm just glad to have it out in any way, shape, or form where it's not like a secret that only a couple people know about because I think there's some really great stuff on there. So
I agree. Will there be a new Great Affairs album anytime soon, or are you still gonna try and?
We had a lineup. So with the new guitarist, we've been doing some remixes, and I know we're contributing a couple things to a couple compilations this year. But yeah, I mean, our main thing is just trying to get back out into the world and see if there are still people live out there to play shows for, and that start the same day this EP comes out is our first show back.
Oh, okay.
So
where's that at?
We're Opelika, Alabama, a place called 8th and Rail.
Okay.
And then full of a handful of shows throughout the summer, all over the place. Just trying to get our feet wet and see if we can still do it. And then we'll probably look at, once we get the wheels greased up a little bit, we'll look at going in and doing some new material. I honestly, man, I've been so focused on this thing and getting that thing to where it's a functioning entity again. I haven't really thought much about writing songs. So I'm now that you say that, now I'm kind of getting a little, now I got a little itch. So yeah, I'm sure, there'll be some new stuff from both of those projects. And plus he's always cranking stuff out. So I'm sure he'll have another album out inside of 2 months probably. So
yeah, end of summer, I'm neck deep into the next record. So at least my next solo record should be out by the end of the summer, which I just released one, last month?
Yeah, it's a month ago.
The Huntington Hotel, that came out, which was kind of my ode to all the things I love about Prince and the Stones, and as Denny puts it, Lenny Kravitz. There's some NXS in there, so I've been told, and I don't know, tried to run the gamut on that one. But I'm in the midst of finishing up the next one right now, just kind of, bringing some other people in on it right now to get some tracks done.
Now, Joshua, do you have a website you'd like to promote?
JoshuaKetchmark.com.
Awesome. And Denny, what's your website?
Well, it's thegreataffairs.com, but don't tell Facebook that, because I just realized yesterday that they got a problem about hyperlinks. So you would want to use DennySmithMusic.com, because that's what it really is. But thegreataffairs.com links to that. So they're the same site. It just has content for both on there. It has my solo stuff, and then it has the band stuff too. So you can find it all there. Either of those options will work. DennySmithMusic.com or thegreataffairs.com.
Anything that I didn't mention that you want to talk about before we go?
Wow. I don't know.
You got something going on that I didn't ask you about, or, a special show coming up, or?
There's all kinds of stuff going on, but we can't talk about that on the... No, man, it's, like I said, he's pushing his new record. We're pushing the CP. Great Affairs are still kicking the last record on down the road a little bit, since we put it out in the middle of a global pandemic that may or may not be ending sometime soon.
I really dig that last Great Affair.
Well, thank you, sir. Appreciate that. That's really it, man. Just trying to figure out what we want to do next. It's just such a weird time, and I'm sure you hear this from everybody, but until it's boots on the ground kind of thing, I just don't know what to expect anymore. We haven't played in so long. In fact, the last show I think I saw was him playing an acoustic thing before Nashville shut down. That was the last live music right at the Springwater show. He did a slot supporting somebody just as they were saying, "Hey, look, it's time to close up the bars," kind of thing. It was like the last thing. So it's been so long since we plugged in. I did a couple things myself, acoustic, before everything went to hell.
You played in December.
Yeah. But it was just not, there's not these weird, not having plugged in on a big stage and played a show in so long that I'm just anxious to get back to doing that. That's our agenda, is just to get out and play. And, maybe I'll sneak one of these acoustic into our set to promote the CP as we go along too. But man, I just want to play shows again. Man, I just want to see people's faces without a mask on. I want to go out in public and not be looking at a bunch of bandits, But
did you guys get the vaccine?
I'm going for round 2 on Wednesday.
Okay. I got mine 2 weeks ago, and I got to go, I think, in another 2 weeks I got to get my round 2. Pfizer.
I got Pfizer as well. Did you have any side effects?
When I got home and I was sitting in my my lazy boy chair, I started to feel a little bit dizzy and my arm hurt. But other than that, I was fine.
Oh, I had the day 2 worthlessness. I was good for nothing except eating Oreos. I couldn't do anything. Could do nothing productive that day. So I'm hoping that doesn't. We actually moved our rehearsal schedule around this week because I didn't want to come in and pass out while we're running through our set. But
yeah.
Well, good, man. I'm glad. That sounds, you got the good end of the deal then, because I don't know if mine's different because I actually had COVID back in October, so maybe mine was harsher because of that. I don't know, but I certainly do not want to endure that again. So I'll take as many shots as they want to give me. I don't care.
Everything's open down here. You drive down the highway, everything's packed. I mean, they can't even get people to work right now, and it's crazy. Yeah.
I went to Florida. I've been to Florida a couple times while this was going on, and it was, very similar down there. Everything seemed to be. I mean, people were respectful, and you had to have the stuff on indoors, and which is, I'm cool with abiding by all that. But yeah, it's definitely. I mean, I think, like I said, I think we go to 100% capacity in bars and restaurants here. It may have already started Friday night, so it's clearly moving in that direction. And I hope it's all I just hope the worst is behind us. I know it's different outside the country, so I don't want to make it like it's, everything's hunky dory, because it's not. But
right,
a year off from playing, man. If you'd asked me 2 years ago, I'd have been, man, I sure could use a year off. A year off sucks.
It does, because you start to lose your mind.
I will never wish for a year off again. I can tell you that much. So,
what'd you guys do that whole time? Were you like stealing cattle and stuff like that when you guys weren't working?
No, we felt guilty. Horses we stole.
Stealing cattle and making moonshine out of a bathtub.
We went all Robin Hood, started giving stuff back to people that we've been taking off these years. Felt guilty.
That's funny, man. Well,
made records. That's all we could do was, like I said, he's been cranking them out a steady stream, but we finished ours up and finished this thing up, and because that was really all you could do, man. I mean, I designed a whole bunch of posters for shows that never even happened and stuff like that. So I really got my Photoshop skills. Here's the show from July.
Yeah, the one that you never got to see. You can own this baby for $5.99 plus shipping.
Only the one. Yeah, I mean, I was joking with somebody on another podcast about how I had done. I mean, my solo album came out at the end of 2019, and I couldn't do shows, so I had this vocal surgery thing. So I thought I would do them all in 2020. So I pressed up a bunch of Denny Smith 2020 shirts. I don't know who would want them, but I'm going to try and slide them. Luckily, I did it in Roman numerals, so I'm just counting on people to not know what it says, and maybe they'll still buy them when I go out and do shows. But yeah, it was a whole, it sucks. I can't imagine being an arena act and having, pre-printed a bunch of merch for tours that didn't happen, where you've got, tens of thousands of pieces of merchandise. I just had a couple boxes of stuff that I'm saddled with. But yeah, I mean, it's a weird year. It was, and it's still a weird time. It just seems like it's getting less and less. People stop shooting each other every day. Yeah,
that would be good. Yep. You know what the trick is to making merchandise and not losing money? Don't put the dates on it. Just put the name of the album on it and stuff. That's it. You know what I mean?
I was hoping they don't know what I had to go look up what the Roman numerals were for 2020. So I'm hoping that one, and maybe people don't realize it. But yeah, I've learned my lesson on that one now. No longer print time sensitive tour materials ever again.
Never date anything.
Just look at it like that. The date the record came out.
Yeah. That was the year commemorating the year of its release. Yeah.
Did your record store do well when everything was out, or you were closed?
No, we were closed for about 2.5 months. State of Illinois had a mandate on the essential business thing. We clearly we were not considered essential, and but when we reopened, we got back into it pretty well for the first few months. We were slow. We were definitely down 20-25% or something like that, but it was better than I thought it would be. And now we've done a full rebound, and this is the busiest we've been in several years. So I think we're in a good place. Plus, the state of Illinois and the city of Pekin, where my shop is located, were kind enough to grant a license for a pot dispensary to open right next door to my shop.
Okay.
So our traffic, our general foot traffic, has increased considerably since that opened up.
Okay.
So we're doing fine there for sure.
That's awesome. Well, I want to thank you guys for allowing me to call you up today and talk to you about this great EP, man. I really dig it. I think there's only 4 on there, but they're really great songs, and I wish you guys the best of luck with this. And I can't wait to see you guys get out there on the road and start doing your thing again.
It's gonna happen, man. And I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us about it, man. It's a tough thing, like I said, when you're putting out an EP, you never know. There's only so much you can do. It's 4 songs. How high can you raise the flag on this thing? So not having a record label behind it or anything, it's cool when guys like you will take the time to help us, bring some awareness to it.
All right, guys. Will you be safe? And, I'll hope to talk to you guys soon. All right?
Awesome. Thank you. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Cheers.
Lying here looking up, wasting the afternoon. Daydreaming in the grass, in the same place I met you. It's running through my mind, you leaving me left behind to chase that someone new across the sky into the blue. Before my eyes you'll fade from sight over the moon. You told me you were tired, you told me we were out of tune. And I just get a little higher, and now no high gets me over you. Across the sky into the blue. Before my eyes you'll fade from sight over the moon. Into the dark, out of my life and gone too soon. Over the moon. I tell myself that it was all just borrowed time, not mine to lose. You told a story I could read between the lines and trace your moon across the sky into the blue. Before my eyes you fade from sight across the sky into the blue. Before my eyes you fade from sight over the moon. Into the dark, out of my life and gone too soon. Over the moon. Over the moon. Over